What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's up, family? This is Chief Kalinago Flying Eagle with another video. Of course, you know it's about dropping the education, but first thing first, I want to acknowledge the great spirit, universal intelligence, universal source, the great I am. Definitely want to honor my ancestors because just doing that, I know that my days are always longer and I do feel their presence and they're always protecting me, always opening up my mind to information. So to me, that's a beautiful thing. It's a gift. And I'm highly honored and favored to be in that position to be sharing the information that I'm actually sharing with you. All right. You may want to get a pen and a pad to take some copious notes, or you could just go to our site, the site that I created for us. It's our site, which is www.ipnan.org. Okay. So that information is there. This evening, we are going to talk about a few things, diving a little deeper into the culture. I know a lot of it was lost, hidden, and just want to educate you guys. Okay. Let me just make sure that I'm good on Facebook with audio. Give me 1 second. And yes. All right. I'm good with audio on Facebook. Okay, good. Guys, you could go ahead and, tag some people if you so choose to. That's fine. And let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, before I go, I definitely got to put that out there. I know that my ancestors are guiding and protecting me, and therefore any weapons formed against me will never prosper. And anyone who tries to harm me intentionally, I personally don't forgive that. And I ask my ancestors to take care of them in the worst way. So I'm protected. All right. So just want to put that out there. Okay. I do not forgive. I don't do that, especially when people try to intentionally hurt me. That is not the American Aboriginal way. That is not the American Aboriginal way. OK, we don't play that. OK, that's something that was taught. And I don't play that. But anyway, let me get into this build right here. When you go to the site, of course, you want to pretty much find that information under, spirituality/religion. If you scroll down, you will see the PDFs. You could download it. Make sure you hold on to that. Of course, teach that to your children. And this evening, we're going to talk about colors of the 4 directions. Okay, colors of the 4 directions. Let me come back here to StreamYard and share my screen. Okay. And guys, I hope you guys don't think that to me saying I don't forgive people who try to hurt me intentionally, I don't forgive. I hope y'all don't think I'm mean or I'm crazy. I just know how universal laws work, and I'm not going to, help anybody escape their karma by hurting me intentionally and forgiving them. That's not how the universe works. Okay, so I allow everybody to deal with their karma. So that's what I mean by that. I do not forgive, period. All right. But on that note, here we go. So let me just make sure I expand that a little more. All right, make it a little bigger because I know it's kind of small here. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me just click on download so we could get a better look at that. All right, there we go. And I think I'll share that instead. But you could definitely download that from the site. Okay. Let me see. All right, cool. All right. Let me just stop sharing this for a second. Stop sharing this. And I'm going to share the downloadable file. Give me 1 second, family. Give me 1 second. Let me just get myself together, please. I got y'all. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. All right, application. PDF. There we go. All right, and like I said, that PDF is on the site, so it's there for everybody, okay? So make sure y'all utilize the information. Turn them TVs off, okay, and teach your children. No, that's just a suggestion. You do what you want with it, but again, I'm only here for the educational purposes, okay? So We got to teach our children about who they are. All right. I am tired of our people running around here, you know, without an identity, and they don't realize what's happening to us is not because the color of our skin is black. No, it's because we are being governed from the color of law. All right, where your rights can be taken away. You don't have any rights. You only have privileges, and that could be taken away. So you're being governed from, the color of law. If you want to be a color in the crayon box, that's what it means. All right. So we have to teach our children, get them away from the mindset of calling themselves a color, because we are not that. All right. And we are not African American either. Okay. We are the original Americans. We are American Aborigines. Okay. Just like you have Australian Aborigines, we have American Aborigines. It's just really plain and simple. You know what I mean? And just for the record, Aborigines are always carbon-based people. Okay, you will never find a pale Aborigine, or or a so-called white Aborigine. You will never find that. Okay, now does it mean that they don't have our blood in them? That's not what it means. But you will never find an Aboriginal that's pale. So I just want to put that out there. Okay, and once again, this has nothing to do with hate or putting anybody down. It's about putting the truth. It's too much propaganda that's out there with the lies. All right, we have to set the record straight, and people have to respect us for who we are. It's unfortunate that everyone comes into the Americas, especially the United States, and they live the American dream. But the American Aborigines, we are here living a nightmare, and we have to change the dynamics. We have to change that paradigm and make sure that we enjoy the fruits of our motherland. Okay. And not just the immigrants that come here. All right. So we have to unite. Well, that's just what I'm suggesting. You do what you want, but that's what I'm looking to do, to build with people that want to unite. That's why I created this website, created this organization. I have the Telegram. All that stuff is in the link. You never know what might happen. So make sure you guys join the Telegram as well. Don't take that for granted, because we need to stay in contact just in case one of these platforms go down. Okay. It is possible. All right. So here we are. We're going to talk about the colors of the 4 directions. Initiates a basic lesson, cardinal point colors. Each mound culture had a specific color for each of the 4 directions. These may not be the colors of your culture, but are the ones many used, and why. All right. So let us talk about real quick about the Hmong builders. Okay. The Hmong builders are American Aboriginals, okay, the ancient people. All right, they have their own creation story. All right, they don't have any memory of them coming from any other parts of the world. All right, so the American Indian is pretty much a new breed that descended from those people, but mixed in with other people with different cultures. That's the American Indian. Okay. So once again, the American Aborigines, okay, original people, they were the Hmong builders. The American Indians were not the Hmong builders. All right. I just want to make sure y'all get that very clear. However, our ancestors did. So in essence, I guess we could take credit for that as well. All right. Because we are the posterity of our ancestors. So let us start this over again. Colors of the 4 directions. Initiates, basic lessons, cardinal point colors. Each mound culture had a specific color for each of the 4 directions. These may not be the colors of your culture, but are the ones many used, and why. Red, color for east, where grandfather's son comes up. Grandmother's son, pardon me, comes up. A lot of people don't know, which I've also spoken about that in lessons or presentations that I've done. The sun was a feminine energy. Okay, it is not father's son. It has always been mother's son or grandmother's son. Okay, but they changed that, when they started shifting into a patriarchal, male-dominated society. But the sun was always a feminine energy. Okay, so let me that's why once again you see everything is spiritual for us and about culture, because we knew that our women, okay, they were and are the light of our world. You see what I'm saying? Our people have gone so far away from our culture that I'm making a great effort to bring our people back, to bring back the respect that we had for our women. Okay, they were literally the light of our world. That's why it was grandmother's son and not father's son, like they're telling us. Okay, so let me just prove that to you again, because I don't just like to talk about things. I like to prove things. So I'm going to show you the etymology of the word son, which I've done before, but I'm going to show it again. Okay. All right. That's good. Kahila. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, please forgive me. Okay. But that's good. Yes. Bookmark the site. That's our site is for us. I created that for us. Okay. Let's teach our children and our people the truth of as to who we are. So let me go look at the etymology of son. I just want to go show you that it was once feminine. So just so that we could make sure everything is coherent. Okay. And Chief Kalinago is not just talking. All right. So this is the etymology of son. As you know, if you don't know what etymology is the origin of a word. Okay. When it was created at a certain point in time, the energy it meant to carry. That's why words are very important. Okay. The power of life and death is within the tongue. So you have to be mindful of the words that you speak. And when you cast spells, you have to be mindful as well. That's why I claimed to be a wordsmith, and just do it when I speak. I'm very particular about the words that I use because I know we are casting spells. Okay, so let us look at the etymology of the word son, a noun. Okay, Old English sonne, the sun, from Proto-Germanic sono, source also of Old Norse, Old Saxon, Old High German sauna, middle. That's where the word sauna comes from. Like when people would go go into a sauna to tan. Well, it all comes from the sun. All right. Middle English sun or sonny, Dutch zon, German sun, Gothic sono, the sun. As you could see, it says when you come down right here, it says what the sun was what? Old English. The sun was feminine. Okay. Generally in Germanic, and femme pronounced was it was pronoun was used in English until the 16th century, until they made it masculine. Now, when did what you call it King James came into the Americas? The black king of Scotland, Ireland, and England at that time, King James the Sixth, he who wrote this 1611 Bible, right? Our culture, a lot of us, reverence the sun, whether you want to call it sun worship, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is that all religion, okay, the basis of what they are is all sun worship. They will not tell you that, but it's all sun worship. The grandmother's son was worshipped. All right. But because they wanted to turn our culture into a patriarchal system, that's why everything in the Bible is about him. Okay. He. And even to this day, people just cannot get it out of their heads that the Great Spirit is not a he. It is not a she either. However, we just knew that within creation, okay, we had a high esteem for the feminine energy, because the feminine energy is what births life. You see what I'm saying? It is the portal to bring life into this realm. So we had high regards for the woman. So the sun, since that the sun was the light of the world, in our culture, it was feminine because it was the light of the world. And therefore, our women were the light of our lives. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of show you the etymology of that word to kind of like correlate with what I'm talking about in the lesson that I'm doing this evening. So let me stop sharing this and go back so we could continue. Okay. Let me share this again. And of course, like I said, this is on the site, so you have access to that. Okay. Here we are. All right, so we have the color red for east, all right, where grandmother's sun comes up. We have blue, color for north, the color you turn when you go too far north. Then you have black, color for the west, where the sun goes down and the darkening land is. You have white color for the south, where our peace seats. Peace first, peace at all cost. Okay, so there you have the four cardinal point colors. You have red, blue, black, and white. As a matter of fact, the flag, the United States flag, is kind of like a simulation of our culture as well. As you can see, they have the red, they have the yellow, the blue, and the white. I don't think they have the red in there, but just to let you know that all that has a part to play in it as well. All right. The sun is red in the east. She is represented by the fire in the square. Since the fire represents our maternal grandmother, the fire is highly respected. You should not throw anything in the fire, like trash or anything from your mouth. Okay, and that is something that I grew up knowing. We know we never threw anything of soil or trash into a fire. You know what I'm saying? That is just part of the culture, or from your mouth. The fire is referred to as an ancient red or ancient white. She is called upon in times of trouble and is called ancient white for peace. You must be careful what you say around the fire, for it will reach out and burn you. This means that in some way you will have great trouble in life. Fire protects our people, and the red warriors stand in the east of this. The color red is also the color of Paint Clan, as the Anawudi, the people of Paint or Paint Clan. The word woody, meaning paint, is always thought of as red paint first, unless otherwise specified. To get the red paint, one takes some red ochre and crushes it in a mortar with a pestle. Now, I don't know if you guys know what a mortar and a pestle is, but my grandmother, she used to like, okay, so there's a thing that we call breadfruit, right? I don't know if you guys know what breadfruit is, but it's a food that, you know, of course it grows on a tree, but it is not a food. It's not in the ground. Okay, it of course it grows, but from the leaves. It springs from the leaves and it bears this fruit. Okay, they're round, green, and when they are ripened, it don't get yellow, but you could tell that it's ripe. Okay, so you could do a lot of things. You could roast them. All right, could have roast breadfruit, or you could cook it. But we used to do either or. My grand uncle, he liked roasting it. My grand aunt, which was pretty much like my grandmother because she raised me for the most part. Well, raised us as well. Every time we went into the country, you know, she would boil that and she would have a mortar pestle. Now, what's a mortar pestle? A mortar pestle is it's made out of wood. Okay, so what we did was we would cut like a good thick part of a tree trunk. Okay, and we would burn the middle of that and we would dig it out. Okay, and we would scrape out the coal and you know, until we get to the wood, and that would be the mortar. Okay, where we put what we call either the breadfruit in there. Okay, there's something another food that would grow. This time it still grows in the ground, but the fruit would be in the dirt. Okay, we call that dasheen. Okay, so you could either take dasheen, you could take breadfruit, also green banana, which we call fig. Okay, you could put that in there as well. So she would take that, put that in the mortar, and then the pestle would be made of wood as well. But it's like kind of like a almost looks like a baseball bat. All right, and then she would put the food in there and, you know, kind of like mash the food with the pestle, and it would turn into a little paste. Okay, and she would so that's pretty much what a mortar pestle is. All right, just wanted to kind of give you guys a visualization as to what that was. Okay, good. The crushed red ochre is kept dry. So when the warrior wants to use it, he just adds a little water. Archaeologists have found clay marbles of different sizes and could not figure out what they were used for until they cut one open. Inside was red ochre or ochre, all right, or uchri, either way, okay? It was surmised that this is how the warriors kept the paint dry until they needed it for personal use. They placed the crushed ochre in damp clay and placed this in the fire. When the damp clay dried, the clay held the red ochre powder dry until they needed it. In the old days, there was a pole in the middle of Paint Town near the square. This pole was painted red when the nation had troubles or was at war. Once hostilities ceased, the pole was not painted and left to fade. When someone wanted to paint red on something, all they had to do was get some ochre from the paint clan. The bird that stands for this direction and the paint clan is the red cardinal. And we spoke about feathers yesterday, birds and feathers, okay? So all this, again, is relevant. Why? Because we had a symbiotic relationship with nature. We were a nature people. We still are. A lot of our people have just lost their way, okay? Blue is the color of the North and is sometimes thought of with trouble that comes to people or nation. A blue warrior stands in the north and protects the people from trouble. This probably due to cold Arctic air coming from the north during harsh winters. The color yellow is also used in medicine to refer to the direction north. This is why the bird for the blue clan and north is the blue/gold macaw. To get the color blue, one uses crushed blueberries for the paint. It can be darkened or lightened depending on how much water or white is added to it. Recent discoveries have found a breeding center in Mexico for macaws. The size of the area indicates they bred them to be traded or sold in North America. And of course, we'll see a photo of that below. Okay. Black is for the color of the West and does not refer to death as some of the nations say it do. Okay, well, it's superstitious, all right, superstition. Some of the nations thought that black represents death. That's why at funerals, it was customary to, wear black. So in relation to where we're at today, they took that concept, okay, of black meaning death to put that into a legal system and say that black is dead in law. And when I'm always talking about we are not black, it's not because I hate the color black. Black is a beautiful color. I mean, I love black clothes. I love black cars. Okay. But the point is, when we deal with law, black is not an identity. It's not a race. It's not a nationality. And that's why I'm so adamant, okay, in pushing our people not to call ourselves the color black. Okay. And personally, I wish I could abolish the, Black History Month. That is one of my goals, honestly. Okay. So, but I want us to celebrate who we are as American Aborigines. Okay. Now, if you want to be black, that's on you. You deal with the consequences, but I'm letting you know what all these things mean. All right. This belief came from the Europeans and is that anything moving at night or colored black was scary and had to be a witch. Now, when they talk about Europeans, we have to be very mindful. Let's keep in mind that the people who set up the 13 colonies, they were so-called black people from the other sides of the sea, predominantly Europe. So they were black Europeans, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? Because when everybody talk about Europeans, they always talk about the pale man, not realizing it wasn't the pale man who came here first. I always have to keep reiterating that so we could always keep this consistent and keep it in its proper context, okay? Because every skin folk and kinfolk, all right? And a lot of us keep forgetting that. So we have to know who is for us and who is against us, all right? The black warrior stands in the West. The darkening land is in the West where our people go when they first die. They dance and do ceremonies. It is said that one goes here to dance and sing for a while. When grandfather calls, they travel to the east until they reach the edge of the sky, where the person climbs up into the sky vault, which is Galvlati or Galalati, which is pretty much sky vault, or another word which is heaven. Okay. While on this journey, we do not say the person's name or carry them, for if we do, it would interrupt their journey. It is said that the hawk carries the person to the darkening land if they die in the day. If they pass in at night, then the owl carries the person. The land in the west is always dark. This is so the fire can be burning all the time to dance with the ancients. There are clans and towns in the darkening land, just as there are here. The color black can be obtained by crushing a burnt coal and adding some water. There are some berries and sap in nature that can be used as well. Also, if you want to make your own charcoal toothpaste, you could burn some wood, get the charcoal, add a little bit of peppermint, and boom, you got charcoal toothpaste. So just wanted to kind of throw that in there as well. Okay, the Raven clan has its town west of the square. The bird for the west is the raven. Again, this is not a negative thing by any means. It is just a direction in which the sun goes down and the earth is dark. In the south, where the white warrior sits, is our peace. You will notice the way the colors are mentioned. You end with the south. The old saying is, peace first, peace at all cost. When the fire burns white, it is purifying all. So it is said, the white color is obtained by taking white chalk and crushing it and adding water. The Dove clan has its town south of the square, for its color is white. In the middle of the Dove clan town, there is a pole, like the one in the Pink clan. These are very tall poles, so you can see them from all over the town. This pole is always painted white and kept with fresh paint until the nation is at war or there are hostilities within the nation. During this time, the pole's paint was not refreshed until the hostilities ended. The bird for the Dove clan and the south is the snow egret, for it is pure white. The bird's feathers are used at green corn for the pole dance. All right. And I told you guys a little bit of that when I spoke about birds and feathers. I told you guys a little bit about the green corn festival that we had when I honored our one of our elders that transitioned. Okay. The great sun, as well as special elders, can wear the long plumes or plums in the front of their headpiece standing up. In the old days, it would have been worn in the front of a copper headdress. Now it is a turban. This is the only time birds' feathers were worn standing up that was white on them. This was the old way. We went from east to south in describing the colors. This is to keep it going counterclockwise. Okay, now, for those of you who don't know, energy moves counterclockwise. Okay, energy moves counterclockwise. That's how I check people's energy. All right, it's not clockwise. Clockwise is the other direction. Anytime I check anyone's energy, if it goes clockwise, I know that person is a negative energy. But if their energy goes, anti-clockwise, then I know they have good energy. Like, take for instance, right? If I could literally get somebody's name, if I know the person's name, I could check to see if they have good energy or bad energy. All right, and I know. All right, so again, those are a lot of those things that I could teach people. All right, so that's a way of checking people's energy. All right, if it goes clockwise, they have negative energy. If it goes anti-clockwise, then everything in nature that has positive energy, it goes counterclockwise, just so y'all know. Okay, as with our dancing and in medicine, we almost always go counterclockwise. So even when you're doing the dance, the fire, Okay, you got to go anti-clockwise. All right. Hence the reason why they have the clock going in the direction that it's going, because it's going opposite to the positive energy. Okay, it's moving in a negative cycle. All right, just so y'all know. All right, in going in this direction with the colors, we wind up in the south where our peace seats. Marker pens for large scale breeding, and that is the marker pen I mentioned about earlier when I said there was a photo of that below. All right, marker pens are the prehistoric site of Pacome in northwestern Mexico. Were made of adobe and contained stone doors with stone plugs. New research suggests the large-scale breeding markers occurred here. Okay, so guys, that was colors of the 4 directions. Just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. Okay. So I mean, since that was kind of like a short one, I think I may just do another one because I have to do them all anyway. So I just did colors of the 4 directions. I think I'm going to do gifts. Yes, let's do gifts. Okay. Even if the title is just color of the 4 directions, I'm just gonna do gifts in there as well. All right. Somebody said the dollar is gonna crash in October. Family, the dollar been crashed since 1933. So I'm not even worried about it. Either way, I'm still gonna be a billionaire, no matter what they bring. Okay, so I'm good. My energy is the money. Without me, it can't exist. You feel me? So it's all love. Okay, let me see. Let's do gifts right here. Let me just go ahead and all right, here we go. So we're doing gifts, okay? Gifts. One must be careful about gifts. Once a gift has been given, you cannot ask for it back. All right, that is not part of our culture. Okay. You could trade for it if you feel you have received a gift that you felt or you feel that the other person wants back, but it's too polite to ask for it back. You can trade the person for some other item. You can make the first move, but remember, a trade is where both people are happy with the outcome. Okay. In our culture, that was what trading was about. All right. It's not in this kind of world we live in where you have these contracts and they're giving you unilateral contracts and it only benefits the system and it hurt everybody else. That is not part of our culture. So everything that we live in, okay, is not part of who we are. Okay, they have taken us out of our elements. All right. If you or the other feels you have been taken advantage of, then it's not a good trade. All right. No matter what anyone else says, the trade is between only 2 people. Both must be happy with the trade and it's not to be talked about later. Again, as part of our culture, if you had any grievances with your brother or sister, you dealt with that on a man to man or a woman to woman or a man to woman or a woman to man basis. And if that couldn't be worked out, then you took it to the inner circle, okay, which is the council. All right. And then the council would decide what to do. All right. Or if it's a thing where it's hurting the entire body, then the entire clan or tribe would have to hear about it. Okay. But the council would eventually make the final decision. But always remember, we always worked out our differences mano to mano or womano to womano. Okay. If that's a Spanish word, I don't know. But I'm just saying, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. All right. A man must ask permission of the husband if giving a gift to a married woman, if the husband is present, okay, out of respect. All right. A woman must ask permission of a wife if giving a gift to a married man. Same sex does not apply. There are exceptions. The feathers of a bird do not belong to us. they can be passed on without prior permission, if for a good reason. The bird belongs to the upper world, like we spoke of yesterday. Remember when we talk about, the birds and the feathers, okay? The birds belong to the upper world and is a gift from the bird and the Great Spirit. This is why the feathers are not to be worn in their hair standing up. This insults the bird. A woman cannot wear the feathers from a wall bird unless a real chief has given it to her. A warbird is a bird of prey, such as a falcon or a hawk. She is better to use the feathers for saging. If she is instructed in the old way to tie it to her left ear, opposed to, let it hang down, opposed to having it stand up, then she can wear it. Okay? A lot of times we do things just because we see people doing it and we don't know the reasons behind it, or the reasons not behind it, because a lot of times we don't know of these things. All right. Along with a chief, a medicine person can give a gift of feathers of the warbird to a woman or a man, as long as they are recognized by the people as a medicine man, or what we may call a shaman as well. Not someone who just calls themselves one. The gift is honored. An elder can also give a gift of a feather to a man or woman, and it is honored. An elder is recognized as someone who has reached the age of 50, male or female, who knows the tradition well. All right. Remember, just because someone is old does not mean they're an elder. They must know of the traditions. Okay. It is earned. Okay. Gifts from either a medicine person or an elder are considered an honor to receive them and should never be given away, for it would be an insult. The feather should be kept until one is told by a medicine person that it should be passed on, or it's ready to go back to the upper world. This means the feather is old and worn and is given to someone who has been taught how to take the feathers back to the upper world by fire. One does not bury the feathers, okay? Because remember why? Feathers belong to birds and they belong to the upper world, okay? If you bury the feathers, that is trying to merge the upper world into the lower world, and that's superstitious in our culture. So you have to burn the feathers and allow the ashes, or whatever the case may be, to go back in, or the energy go back into the upper realms. Each gift is supposed to be an honor to give and to receive. If you refuse a gift from an Indian, it is an insult. This does not apply to others who do not know what they are doing. Usually, I tell someone about gifts before I give or receive them. You can refuse a gift of food if you are not hungry, but do it politely. Disposing of a gift is different. It is if it's old, worn out, and served its purpose, then it can be discarded. If it was given to manipulate, then it should have been discarded at the beginning. If you are too polite to discuss the gift and knew it was to manipulate, then give it away. It insults the intention of the giver, who should have not done done it in the first place. All right. So part of what I do, okay, anytime anybody, I don't care who it is, anybody come into my realm, into my space of energy, into my sphere of energy, or anybody give me anything, all right, I always check their energy, because energy never lies. Okay. I always check their energy, because that's a way of protecting myself. Sometimes people give you things, and it's not superstitious, it is real. Sometimes people give you things with bad intentions to harm you. All right. And that's all about energy. Okay. And it's real. Okay. So you have to know and feel that energy, but there are, of course, ways to test that energy, like I told y'all before about clockwise and anti-clockwise. Okay. Clockwise, negative energy; anti-clockwise, positive energy. Okay, let's proceed. Gifts are given to a person when you go to their home for the first time. This usually is done by the person visiting the lady of the house. A gift of tobacco wrapped in red cloth. This is not limited to tobacco either. One can place sage and cedar in the red cloth. This is a must and should be done, as stated, upon the first visit to the house. If you do not smoke, it does not matter. Tobacco is given for many reasons, and the main one it is used in a lot of ceremonies. So therefore, the need for more tobacco always is there. Okay. I know a lot of people, always put welcome mats in front of their homes. That is not part of our culture. Why? Because that means you're inviting any kind of energy into your home. You see, vampire suckers or vampires, they need permission to come into your home. But when you just have a welcome mat, you are just welcoming anybody. All right. Oh, well, come in. They don't have to ask for permission to come into your home because you already welcome that energy. The physical body is just a host. All right. Somebody could literally bring energy into your home without walking into your house physically. All right. So welcome mats wasn't part of our culture. Okay. Just so y'all know. If you cannot find red cloth, then a good piece of calico material will do. With calico, the simpler the pattern on the material, the older and more authentic it is. There is a lot of nice calico material in most crafts department of discount stores. But if you want the older style, then you may have to settle for buying a plain piece with no pattern on it. In the old days, the patterns were hand done on calico. It was hand stamped on the material after the basic color was dyed into it. It is very hard to find calico with a simple one dot stamped on the cloth, but it can be done if you have a large material stored near where you live. Another thing about gifts, other than the house gifts, is that sometimes the person who gets a gift returns the honor by giving a gift to you also. Once again, we strongly believed in the laws of reciprocity. That's why I tell people, nobody should have to ask you for anything. When people are giving onto you, people are pouring into you. It's our natural culture. You see, we have lost our ways so much, that you don't realize what you're doing. When people give onto you, it's a natural part of the tradition to give back in return. And that's why I tell people, I'm pouring so much into this. I shouldn't have to ask you guys to go to the site and support. I spend all day doing this in my personal time because I'm giving it to you as a gift. Okay, so you should always show your love by reciprocating. Okay, and go to the site and show your love and support because it allows me to bring more and do more. I shouldn't have to be asking. That's why I don't like to ask. But you should be grown enough to know that that's something that you should do naturally because Chief Kalinago don't have to do this. All right, but I do it because I love y'all. Okay, but you also gotta respect the culture and give back. All right. Now, this does not mean you have to give a gift or get one. Okay, that is not right and never should be done or expected. And that's why when I do things, like I said, I just do it. I don't expect anything. However, it would be appreciated because when you do things, it's all about the intention. I don't do things to get something in return, and that's not how we should do it. We should always do because it's just blissful to do, all right, and do unto others, okay? And a lot of times, even if you do good to others, sometimes the return the gift may not come from them. It may come from somebody else, but always give and do from the bottom of your heart and do it with love. Okay. Just because you gave a gift does not mean you will assure yourself of a gift in return. The person who received your gift in the first place may not know of reciprocal gifts or may just decide to not give one in return because they may not be aware of the laws of reciprocity. Okay. And that's why it's imperative to teach the culture. All right. There is no insult intended if you do not give a gift in return. This especially applies to the house gift of tobacco. one does not have to give a gift in return, as the fact that they come to your house is good enough, because that's alone in itself is a gift. All right. While they are in your house, it is customary to offer drink and food, as well as a place to sleep. Should it be necessary, they are considered reciprocal gifts and take care of all formalities. This should help with the gifts thing, and we hope all understand or understand or overstand how gifts are very important. Even the gift of a feather found by the wayside that the bird and the grandfather let you find should be honored in the proper way of living tobacco. Gifts were one way our people showed respect of others, and should be noted that our culture is one of respect of others first. Sharing the things you have was a lesson learned early by our native children. Our people did not hoard things. If one had an abundance of hawk feathers, they would share them with others who did. All right. Respect and honor are also things our children learn early. It would be good if the people of today would teach this to their children. For example, all right. Well, okay, the world would be a better place, and that would be a fact. For example, when I used to travel the country and go teach our people about who they are, I went to Chicago, and I went to they had a drumming circle that they did by the waterfront. Okay, and man, listen, I'm not even gonna answer this question. Like, people like y'all, y'all come to my feeds and try to throw my energy off, but I'm not even gonna give you the time of the day. I'm not even gonna do that. Okay, so let me just continue, because that's what y'all do. But anyway, when I was in one of my trips in Chicago, they had a drum circle, and I saw a lady. She had I think like about maybe 4 or 5 children, and they were so fascinated, just by the way I was dressed, and I had this beautiful headpiece. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have any extra feathers to give them, so I kind of like asked the ancestors real quick, for permission. Is it okay, if I gave the children some feathers? And I got the confirmation, and yeah, I literally defeathered my headpiece, and I gave each of them a couple of feathers, and I just did a little, uh, just some words of encouragement, letting them know who they are and stuff like that, and did some affirmations, and that was that, and they went on their way, and you could have seen their faces, man. They lit up, they lit up. The little girl, one of the little girls, like, you couldn't even touch her feather. Like, her mother was trying to, oh, well, let me hold it for you now. I mean, she literally was catching a tantrum. All right, so that was a beautiful experience. So we just went over gifts. Let me see how long that one is. You see if I could go over that. All right, so I'm gonna do this one, and then I'll do the mound another time. I'll do the code talkers another time. So, and I'll do the first fire another time. But I am gonna do right now. I'm gonna do how the tobacco was brought back. Okay. So let me go ahead and close that out and share this with you guys. You see, people always want to come, with this negative energy. I promise you, it's just funny that, people think the United States is America. You see what I'm saying? It's an insult, to go into Africa and call somebody from Ghana, call them, another part of Africa. They get upset. They take that personally. You see what I'm saying? So why are you coming on my feed and asking me if I'm African? You see what like that's very disrespectful. That's very disrespectful. I grew up with my culture. Nobody had to teach that to me. Things I'm telling y'all about the mortar pestle and all that stuff and all them things. I grew up around that. You see, what people don't realize is when I went to school, in the islands, nobody told me. We didn't call ourselves black. Number one, we didn't call ourselves African Americans. And they did not teach us in school that we were Africans. They told us we were Amerindians. So I tell people, show some respect. The United States is not America. As a matter of fact, the people in the islands were called Americans first, before anybody in America. So yeah, so show some respect, man. I don't know if y'all want to come on here because of jealousy or envy, whatever the case may be. Let me teach my people. That's what my ancestors brought me here for, to teach my people. And that's what I'm doing. And then y'all got to stop with this envy, man. You know what I'm saying? The culture, a lot of this stuff was lost. So I'm teaching it. So show some respect. The first time I heard people call themselves black was when I came into the United States. You know what I'm saying? So, and guess what? I don't want to call myself a United States citizen either. So stop thinking the United States is America. Do you know who fought the hardest to prevent colonizers from coming into the mainland? It was people from the islands, to protect our brothers and sisters right here in the United States. Florida was part of the Caribbean. But you see, y'all got so much hate in your heart for each other. It's a shame. And that's why I took a long break from doing this type of videos, because of idiots like that. I promise you, I know a whole lot more about our culture than over 90% of the people calling themselves Aborigines or American Indian. I promise you that, because I grew up with it. You feel me? I grew up with it. I didn't just start doing this overnight. This is in me. It's in my blood. Just so y'all know. But let me get back on track here, and I'm going to do this one here real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, here we go. All right, let me just bring that up. And you know, and to me, that is just pure ignorance for you to think every American have to sound like people in the United States. Y'all don't realize the Americas is a continent, and everybody don't sound alike. We had, in California alone, they had over 167 dialects in California alone. So when y'all don't know y'all history, and I'm here giving it to you because I know it, just show some respect and appreciation, man. Jeez. All right, family. I think I vent enough. Let me just talk about, how the tobacco was brought back. Okay. It was brought back by the hummingbird. All right. Now, many years ago, the tobacco was kept by animals and used as a very high medicine for man. The great cranes were jealous of the tobacco keepers and stole it. They flew away high in the mountains and hid the tobacco among very sharp rocks on a tall mountain. The animals held council to get the tobacco back, and everyone was anxious to try. The first to go was the great falcon, the warrior bird, who could soar and dive so fast that his enemies didn't know what hit him. So he flew away high above the mountain peaks, and when he spotted the tobacco, he dove to retrieve the plant. The cranes were waiting and attacked him with great vigor as they was trying to pick the plant. The great blue heron was the leader of the cranes and is victorious and is vicious hunter himself. The falcon did not stand on a chance and was killed. Hold up, 1 second. When the other animals heard of this, they were so afraid that they decided there was no way that the tobacco could be recovered. The panther, the great night hunter, said he would go under the cover of darkness when the cranes were asleep. He would get the tobacco and bring it back. The cranes were smart and left guards at night to watch the pathways up the mountain. The panther did not stand a chance, so many cranes descended upon him. He never even got halfway up the mountain. In the council house, the animal said it was no use. A little voice from the corner said that she would go. This was the hummingbird. They asked, "How are you going to do this?" The little hummingbird said, "Look over here." As they were watching her, she suddenly disappeared and was behind them saying, "I am over here." They were so impressed at her speed, they said she might be able to do it. They wondered how she would make the long journey to the mountain, and she told them she would store every energy and sleep at night, as the hummingbirds do when they migrate to South America. Off she went towards the mountains, and each night she slept safely in a tree while she stored her energy for the next day's flight. When she got to the mountain, she darted so fast that the cranes did not spot her. So she found the tobacco, clipped a seed pod off, and began to leave. She could not resist the temptation to taunt the cranes. She darted back and forth until their feet saying, "I am over here. No, I'm over here." This confused the cranes so much they began pecking at the ground around her feet, trying to get the hummingbird. The hummingbird flew away and brought the tobacco back to the council house, and we have had tobacco ever since. The cranes to this day stand in the water looking at their feet, still trying to find the hummingbird. All right, so that's how the tobacco was brought back. And I also had hummingbirds as pets as well. Okay. All right, guys. So like I said, another time I will go over the next three of them for you guys, but I just want to come drop that information for y'all. I hope you found some value in that. Don't forget to go ahead to this bookmark the site, go to the Telegram. Make sure you guys join the Telegram group, because it's important that we have other means of staying in contact. All right, so I really appreciate you guys being on here. If you found some value in the information tonight, just go ahead and drop some ones in the chat. I really appreciate that. And I want you guys, man, to continue just be good to each other, man. Don't be like this negative people. You see what I'm saying? You see, misery love company, and we have to realize that. And we cannot allow these people to throw us off. We got work to do. Remember, not every skin folk is skin folk. You see what I'm saying? So I'll continue to do what I'm doing because I was sent here to do it. And like I tell everybody, you guys haven't seen or heard the best of me. All right, my story, who I am, will be written on walls and in storybooks. This is just the beginning, because people don't know who I am, but I know who I am, and I know who sent me. So I'm just going to leave it as that. All right. So with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your continuation, and I will see you guys on the next live in a few more lessons. Have a good one. Thank you.